This fake 2.5D plane rig is composed mostly of solids. It uses what is, in my opinion, the most underappreciated effect in all of After Effects. First, create a comp and name it plane. This will be your main comp. Then you're gonna need a wing, a back wing, 2 of those, and a rudder thing. Each of these items are just comps with solids, with a gradient ramp applied to them, and a bunch of stroke layers for the flaps. Add another comp for the fuselage artwork with the windows, doors, logo, and what have you. Under the fuselage artwork comp, we're gonna create a comp for the phallic type shape of the body. In the plain body comp, create solids for the nose, the cabin, and the tail. Notice that I added a slightly angled gradient ramp for the tail. Now let's turn these rough shapes into a plane using the beautiful Bezier Warp effect. Here's how you would shape the nose, for example. But why Bezier Warp? Admittedly, it is slightly more annoying to use than just normal shape path points, but among other things, this effect will get you very close to simulating how factories shape and distort sheets of metal or carbon fiber. Your shapes will have a more natural distortion, but I digress. Now we will create our key poses. Focusing on only our fuselage body elements, we will create our first pose with the help of references, of course. Inside of the plain body comp, above the nose, cabin, and tail solids, we will place an adjustment layer with a simple choker set to 15 to smoothen any jagged edges, a posterize effect set to taste, and a tint effect so we can control the colors later. Remember to have your fuselage artwork in the main comp so we can mat it onto the body layer later. Before shaping the next pose, confirm, organize, and label all your keyframes. I'm only doing side, top, and front facing poses for this tutorial, but you can do up to 5. To keep my process organized, I start by only working on the fuselage. Confirm your keyframes and onto the next pose. Add your front wings and apply the same effect stack we used for the body, and Bezier Warp them. Do the same for the rest of the other wings and confirm the pose. Quick tip, what I have selected here is the fuselage artwork. When morphing from pose to pose, try your best to move your Bezier points in a straight line, whether that's vertically or horizontally. Now, how do you move your plane? I used Joysticks and Sliders. Just take your keyframe poses and put one pose for each of the first 5 frames of your comp. For the engines, I created a square comp with rotating fans and scaled that comp only on the horizontal scale, and did more of the solid shaping work for the engine casings. And now we're ready to ship the airship. Planes and other vehicles have reflective surfaces, and anything that shines in general reflects the world around it in a warped fashion. If you look closely at this plane, for example, a lot of what we see in the cutout of the plane itself are images of how it reflects and warps the sky, the mountains, and the sunlight. Now, I know I didn't touch on this aspect in my intro demo or this tutorial because it deserves another video, but here's a very primitive demo of what you can get when you use Bezier Warp in a rig like this. Think of this as a fake 2.5D HDRI. Just slap in any background element onto the fuselage artwork, wings, and engine comps, and it will warp realistically. Planes have a lot of moving parts in their wings, with the flaps, cool lights, and landing gear, among other things, of course. If you guys want me to make a longer version of this video where I make a very buff version of this plane, let me know and I'll do that.